5 success principles that I use to really get the most out of life and business. You know, I get asked often from entrepreneurs kind of what are some of the habits that I have or some of the ways I think about business that really have impacted my career. You know, I don't know if you know, but I've built 5 companies, even though the first 2 were complete failures. The last 3 had quite a bit of success. I ended up raising venture capital. My last company got acquired in February, and I feel super blessed that all those things happened, but really they're kind of attributed to a bunch of different strategies, and that's what I want to share with you guys, 5 different strategies to really get the best success out of your life. The first one is momentum. You know, when people ask me, what is my responsibility as a founder or CEO, first thing that comes to mind is momentum. You know, you got to think about the team that you have and the investors and the different advisors that you might have together, and how do you get everybody moving forward? And once you get them going, keep them going forward again. You know, like some people talk about a flywheel that's turning and you got to keep them that momentum. But that to me is, every day I ask myself, where are we slowing down? How can I increase that? Where do we need to get started? Because that starting phase is always where there's a lot of friction and it's new, so people aren't too keen on doing it. And then once things are moving, keep them in motion. So number 1 strategy is just momentum. The second one is habits. You know, when I think about the most impactful advice I ever got, it was from a neighbor, actually, Wayne, who was the only kind of entrepreneur I knew. He had a few motels and some real estate projects, and I remember sitting down with Wayne asking him one day, because I was just getting going as an entrepreneur, I said, what is the one piece of advice you can give me? And Wayne said, habits. Now, I at the time thought it was the most ridiculous advice ever. I was expecting something way deeper and mind-blowing than habits, but I can't tell you how important it is, because if you have the right habits, you can avoid the ups and downs. I don't know if you've ever experienced this in your business where things are going really well, and then all of a sudden you change things and they go really bad, and then you're like, oh crap, they're broken. So then you get really back engaged in your business and they get better again, and you go through this crazy ups and downs. And what I try to do is I try to ask myself, what are some habits, some success habits, that if I implemented into my business would continue that upward trend of progress without always feeling like once things got good, I could take my eye off of it, go work on something else. So it's habits that I ask myself, from marketing, product development, just leadership, you know, even finance. What are things that I'm willing to do on a daily basis, maybe every 2 weeks or even on a monthly, quarterly basis, that I know are going to be important to keep things going in the right direction? And those are habits, and I try to only add one new one every 60 days. I know some people talk about the 21 days. I don't know about you, but 21 doesn't seem like enough to really create that habit and that routine. So I go 60 days and then I introduce another one. The other idea that I like to think about is just keeping things simple. You know, when I talk to entrepreneurs and they feel overwhelmed or they just have way too many things going on, I just ask them to simplify their life. You know, I ask them, why are you doing all these other things when you could just be doing these 1, 2, or 3 things at max? They've got 10 things going on. And you know, it's funny, like some people just feel like they have some superpower. And the way I look at it is management bandwidth, right? So if you don't have a bunch of managers other than yourself, then you don't have the capacity to take on multiple projects. So I try to keep things simple. And the reason why is because when they're simple, I can go deep. And when I go deep, I can truly, truly understand and get the value out of the execution part of the project. So a lot of people, they start a marketing strategy, and they might build some landing pages and some Facebook ads, but they don't go deep, they don't focus. Then they start doing other stuff like YouTube and Twitter paid channels, and they didn't just keep it simple, go deep and focus so that they can really get the value out of that. So that's a big one. You know, the other one I'm going to say in line with that is strategy. You know, just understanding, where are you today? Where do you want to be in the next 1, 3, 5 years? And what strategy can you kind of map out for the next year on a quarterly basis or monthly basis that's going to get you to that point? And if you don't have that, then every new idea that you can think of is a great idea. Every new idea is something you should be doing. You could be at dinner with a bunch of friends and they're like, oh, you should try to do this for your business. And you're like, oh, that's so great. And you do it again. And you see how as soon as you start doing that, all the other things I just talked about kind of go out the wayside. Your habits, simplifying stuff, all these items just get really difficult to do. So having a strategy for me, it allows me to say no quickly in a nice, polite way. So every day on a daily basis, I get a dozen emails from amazing people, heart-centered people that want me involved in their projects, that they have an idea for my business. And because I have a strategy figured out, I can quickly evaluate, do I really think doing that project and taking this one out is going to have a bigger impact for the result that I'm trying to attain? If the answer is no, boom, simple, quick, no. Thank you, appreciate it, we thought about it, not a fit. And I just feel like that'll allow you to do so much as an entrepreneur, really help you create these, success principles. The last thing I'm going to tell you guys, and the fifth one, is to enjoy the journey. It's not about the outcome. I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but a lot of people, they're striving for the mountaintop. And trust me, once you get there, if you've ever been there, you realize that you start looking at the horizon and you start plotting out your next mountaintop. So it is truly not about achieving, it is about the journey. So no matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey today, embrace and love the process. Love the fact that you feel frustrated, that your team isn't always listening, or that you feel like you're doing way more than everybody else, because that truly is the reason we do this. And if you can bring that level of appreciation and gratitude for even the frustrating times, it just makes everything else so much easier. So I want to hear from you. If you have any other success principles, leave them below as a comment. Please like this video so we can get a bigger audience and a bigger impact for other people. I want to challenge you guys to live a bigger life and a bigger business, and I will see you next Monday.